The porch light flickered like a dying pulse as I stepped out of the car. The street was empty, rain soaking the pavement, leaving the air heavy with the scent of wet soil and something else, something metallic, sharp, like fear. I saw her silhouette before I even reached the steps. Claire stood in the doorway, arms crossed, her white nightgown glowing faintly in the dim light. Her face was unreadable, but her eyes burned through me. "Where were you?" she demanded, her voice trembling, caught somewhere between worry and accusation. I dropped my keys on the table inside and turned toward her slowly. "Looking for a faithful wife," I said, each word cold and deliberate, cutting through the silence like broken glass. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. For a moment, the world stopped. The ticking clock in the hallway felt deafening. 3 days earlier, I'd thought my life was perfect. Claire and I had been married 8 years. We had a small house, a routine, a quiet sort of happiness. She worked from home, freelance graphic designer. I worked long hours managing logistics at a warehouse. We fought sometimes, but who didn't? Then I started noticing things. Her phone face down, always. Late-night client calls that ended when I entered the room. The faint smell of cologne on her blouse that wasn't mine. Little things, small enough to ignore if I wanted to. And for a while, I did. But one night, she laughed in her sleep. A soft, intimate laugh. Whispered something like a name, Matt. The next morning, I stared at her over coffee. "Who's Matt?" She blinked, playing dumb. "What?" "You said the name in your sleep." She smiled, too easily. "You're imagining things." That smile, it used to make me feel warm. Now it felt rehearsed. So I decided to find out. On Thursday night, she said she was meeting a client at a cafe downtown. I waited 15 minutes after she left, then followed. Her taillights disappeared into the rain, and my stomach twisted with a dread I didn't want to name. I parked 2 blocks away and watched from across the street. She wasn't at the cafe. She was at the hotel next door. I saw her step out of her car, hood pulled up, glancing around like a thief. A man opened the lobby door for her. Tall, dark hair, familiar. Matt. Her ex-coworker. I'd met him once at a Christmas party years ago. They'd hugged too long back then too. They disappeared inside. For a long time, I sat there gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. Every part of me screamed to storm in, to catch them, to end it. But something stopped me. A colder part of my mind wanted proof. Wanted to see how far she'd fallen. So I waited. An hour passed. Then 2. When she came out, her hair was wet, makeup smudged, and her smile looked like guilt carved into her skin. She didn't see me. Tonight, when she asked me where I'd been, I wanted her to say something honest. I wanted her to break down, confess, beg, something, anything real. But she didn't. She crossed her arms tighter. "You're drunk, aren't you? You smell like whiskey." I wasn't. "You've been acting strange lately," she said, her tone defensive now. "Coming home late, asking weird questions. What's wrong with you?" "What's wrong with me?" I stepped closer. Rain dripped from my hair onto the floor. "What's wrong with me is that I married a liar." She flinched. "Excuse me." "I saw you, Claire." My voice cracked despite my efforts. "Hotel Belmont. Room 204. With Matt." The color drained from her face so fast it made me dizzy. She tried to speak, but the words came out broken. "You followed me. You're really asking me that?" She looked away, shaking her head, hands trembling. "It wasn't what you think." "That line always comes first," I said bitterly. "Then comes the crying. Then the apologies. Go ahead. Let's get this show started." Tears welled in her eyes. "It was one mistake. I didn't mean for it to happen." I laughed, but it sounded hollow. "You mean the first time, or the last time?" Her expression shifted. A tiny flicker of guilt turned to anger. "You were never here, Adam. You were always working, always tired, always distracted. I felt alone for years." I stared at her, the room spinning. "So you fixed that by sleeping with him?" She covered her face. I didn't plan it. Then what? He tripped and fell into your bed. Her sobs echoed through the living room. I hated how part of me still wanted to comfort her. Still wanted to believe her. You have no idea how lonely it felt, she whispered. He listened to me. He made me feel seen. I swallowed hard. So did I. Until you stopped looking. Silence filled the house again. The kind that stretches and suffocates. She finally spoke, her voice a thread. Can we fix this? Fix? I repeated. Claire, trust isn't a leaky pipe. It's glass. Once it cracks, no matter how careful you are, it'll never hold water again. She walked closer, reaching for my hand. I made a mistake, but I still love you. I stepped back. Love doesn't do what you did. Her eyes met mine, desperate. Please, Adam, I'll do anything. We can start over. I stared at her for what felt like forever. Then I said quietly, you already started over. Just not with me. I packed a small bag that night. She stood in the doorway, crying silently, as I zipped it closed. Where will you go? She asked. I don't know, I said. But somewhere I can breathe again. I walked past her, out into the rain. The cold hit me, but it felt cleaner than the air inside that house. Halfway down the driveway, I turned back. She was still there, framed by the doorway light, looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. For a brief, painful second, I saw the woman I fell in love with, her laugh, her warmth, her promise. Then I remembered the hotel room. And I kept walking. The next morning, I drove past the Belmont Hotel. The parking lot was empty, the neon sign flickering. I parked for a moment, staring at it, feeling something break inside me, not just anger, not even sadness. Something deeper. Forgiveness, maybe. The kind that doesn't mean you stay. I took one last look, then drove away, the rain finally stopping as sunlight cracked through the clouds. It wasn't peace. Not yet. But it was the first breath of it.